him, the rate of divorce among the IT people are the maximum. Again, he says, why? I said, the rate of divorce among the marketing people are the least. Again, he says, why? Because I told him the marketing people least is the divorce. You know why? Because a marketing salesperson, for any sale, 16 to 17 is the hit rate, global hit rate. So a marketing person, 16 times he get rejected. And he is trained, anybody rejects him, he'll smile and give the visiting card. So when the wife says, get lost to the marketing person, he'll smile and give the visiting card. All right? So divorce are very less in the marketing people and sales. Whereas a computer person, wife says, get lost, he'll go to the Googles and look out for options. Then this fellow started smiling. Because, right, there is no sense of, wow. For a lot, please, I'm not criticizing. I come from Bangalore. It's an IT hub, and there I have the rich experience of having cross-section. What happens to people, pause, sir, as a part of inner ecology? What happens? Is our knowledge destroying the wowness of life, or is our knowledge enhancing the wowness of life? Right? I've seen very knowledgeable people can't say wow. Rabindranath Tagore, simple dewdrop on a lotus leaf, poetry comes out. And the Kuppasamy sees Niagara Falls and dysentery comes out. Because no water in Tamil Nadu put it. There's no sense of wowness. Pause, sir. Is knowledge destroying wowness, or is knowledge enhancing wowness? For most of people, the knowledge is destroying wowness. Because you put the switch on, you know technologically what comes out. You put this out, you know. So you can't appreciate the beauty of a flower. You can't appreciate, I know flower is, you chemicals. And there's no wowness. And when there's no wowness in your life, you cannot really respect the miracle of life. Isn't it, friends? And therefore, have you seen some people? Their face is so sad, constipated, piles complaint, look, and they talk. Let us all be happy. Or bonda apdi vilo ange. I see Vani Boliye, Kabir says, speak in such a way, you cool the other and cool yourself. And some people, and still they get married. And then still they go to honeymoon. And in honeymoon, the child also comes out, And they say, Swamiji, 707 books you have brought out, Swamiji. How to make my children laugh? I said, manufacturer's defect, what I can do? Your whole honeymoon is, Sir, don't think I'm just joking around here. Lord Krishna in the Gita says, Ascharyavat vadati, Ascharyavat pashyati, Ascharyavat chnoti. Your life or Ascharyamayai irukunu, everything wonder. You look at the flower, wow. You look at life, wow. Then when your boss scolds you, you'll see how beautifully his mustache goes up and down, wow, wow. So you will not be disturbed. When your wife bugs you, you'll say, wow, wow, wow. Because in our bugging, there's so much of communication skills. There is space, pause, pitch, punctuation, voice modulation, open statement, close statement, funnel technique, multiple closes, disarming technique, and preemptive strike. Wherever luft leta hai, wherever maja leta hai. And when you can be happy wherever you are, you will kiss the flower instead of plucking the flower. You'll water the flower instead of destroying the flower, sir. Are you getting, friends, what I'm saying? So this is the inner ecology. So the change, as Sitaram said there, change has to happen from you. Oh, go green, reduce the carbon. No. If you are sensitive, automatically you can think, what can I add? Contribution to the flower. We are not sensitive at all. And we are not sensitive what happens to your life. So change yourself first. Everybody is interested in changing the other person. I've noticed, they attend my workshop and say, Swamiji, romba nalla irukku Swamiji, in boss romba thevi in program. Unke na, en thevi illa Swamiji, un boss thevi. Everybody, and the boss says, Swamiji, wonderful you have written, my subordinate badly needs it. It appears every other person needs it and this person doesn't need it. A young girl goes to a doctor and said, doctor, every part of my body is paining. Head is paining. She touches her head and says, it is paining. It is paining. Every part, she says, The body, the doctor was an FRCS. And he says, body language is fine. How is it everything is paining? Then the doctor checks up every part and said, you're perfectly fine. Then why it is paining? Because your pointing finger is fractured. Is the finger fractured? So first we are fractured. When you are fractured, you look at everybody, So first change yourself, sir. Are you getting, friends? Now please see. Technologically, put the switch on, right, the keynote comes. Put something else, the computer comes. We all know, sir. Now to create computer, to create the keynote, to create this light, to create the microphone, there is full of creativity. Yes or no? Tell me yes. There's full of creativity. When there's full of creativity around, including if the flower, the trees, the electronic items, this creativity is created by whom? By our mind. Yes or no? Yes, mind. But if the mind is so disturbed with hurt, upset, frustration, jealousy, greed, please understand that disturbed mind is not going to contribute to creativity. It will mess up creativity. Yes or no, friends? So therefore, first thing as inner ecology, please don't get unnecessarily hurt. And if you look at people's life, everybody is hurt. So my boss called me an idiot, Swamiji. Boss called me a monkey. Oh, it hurt me. I said, boss calls you a monkey. Simple, sir. Inga parni, anga par. There's no monkeys. Or doubly check up panpa. You doubly check up. Then make sure there are no monkeys. Because genetical changes can happen also. So tell your doctor, tell that person who called you monkey, go to an ophthalmologist, Shankar Netralaya, and get your eyes checked up. But what happens? Somebody calls you a monkey, you say a donkey, he says buffalo, you say bulldog. Because deep within you have a doubt, maybe I'm a monkey. Are you getting, friends? Yes, no? So why I'm saying this inner ecology is disturbed. That's why we are so messing up external ecology. A terrorist can hurt himself, so it's very easy to hurt others. But you love yourself, right? You can't hurt others. You love others, sir. So pause for external ecology to external ecosystem. Work on your internal ecosystem. First, refuse to get hurt. Now, what is the dynamics of hurt, sir? If somebody calls you a monkey, does it come wing and disco create? Right? But experience-wise, it has happened, no? So I always give, please see the keynote, I always give this. Please see, look at here. Right? If words come and fall on you, where does it fall, sir? Where does it fall? In our mind. Say loudly, mind. And mind is what? An interpretation mechanism. Words don't hurt. How our mind interprets it hurts. Because this hurt is destroying the inner ecology. If you read Mahabharata, Ramayana, everything hurt. Bhishma was hurt, Duryodhana was hurt, Drupada was hurt, Ambika was hurt, Bhishma was hurt. And because of hurt, there is war called Kurukshetra. So therefore, you have to know how to resolve this hurt first for ecosystem, right? Words don't hurt, is how you interpret. My first trip abroad was to Australia. And in Blue Mountains, I took a workshop. And there was no Indian, I was hardly about 26, 27 years. I did a workshop. Everybody appreciated the hostess. At the end of the workshop, she was so happy. She came, hugged me and kissed me on my cheeks. I felt so uncomfortable because my first kiss. Don't ask me which is your second kiss. I am so used to people touching my feet. She decided why low, go low. She went high. These foreigners are always high. I was so disturbed because I'm used to people touching my feet. From Blue Mountains, I went to Sydney and I was staying at a German couple's house and I said, see, right, she kissed me. I felt so uncomfortable. Then he said, Swamiji, why are you so uncomfortable? She's so good looking. Are you not shocked, Achi? Then I realized the Western way of expressing love is hugging and kissing. The Indian way is namaste, touching the feet. I did not see the love, sir. I'm more caught up in the package, how love has to be said. So therefore, I didn't see her kissing as an act of love. More, it has to come in the package of bowing down. So therefore, I was hurt not because she kissed me. I was hurt because my interpretation how love should be expressed. Are you getting, friends? So therefore, words come and fall in our interpretation mechanism. And what is interpretation, sir? What is interpretation? It is what you talk to yourself. See, for example, if somebody says, hey, harsh words are a stab or an insult, then I mean insult. If I tell myself, right, harsh words are a stab on a back, if I tell myself, talk to myself, or if I say, everybody is insulting, I'm a doormat, if I talk to myself negatively, my experience is going to be hurt. Isn't it? Then my psychological position is going to be pain. It is not the words. But if I am proactive, like Madan Mohan Malia, you know Madan Mohan Malia, who established the Hindu Benares University, he went to Hyderabad. He met the Nizam of Hyderabad. The Nizam didn't like the word Hindu Benares University. And he told him, get lost. You change the word Hindu. He said, what is the meaning of the word Hindu? But still he was not consistent. It's a true story. All right, Nizam took a single shoe and threw at him. Madan Mohan Malia knew he can't get the shoe thrown at him. He took it and left the palace of Hyderabad and starts auctioning it in the streets of Hyderabad. The Nizam came to know his shoe is auctioned. His ego got affected because he didn't want to go to less price. So he'd send some of the chelas to increase the auction. And Madan Mohan Malia got a best price out of a shoe thrown at him. Clap for him, not for me. All right, see, because that insult, what was his psychological thing? I'm not a monkey. If somebody says something, I'm not a monkey. Or I talk to myself, it is his perception problem. Or he says personal struggles are showing up. All right, and then if this is the proactive self-talk I have, my experience is I'm going to be calm, sir, and my psychological position is in state of power. So I am saying, first, please understand, if I want to create an ecosystem outside, I have lack of time, so I'll end up, ecosystem outside, inner ecology I should stop disturbing. If I am disturbed inside, I create disturbance outside. If I can learn to be calm, if I can learn to be loving, if I learn to be, right, compassionate to myself, I'll be compassionate to the flower, compassionate to the dog. And therefore, I'll respect planet Earth. Therefore, in Indian culture, we says, Akashat Vayuhu, Vayor Agnihi, Agner Apaha, Apav Prithvi. We worship Akasha, space. Says, no time, so I can't talk on this. You worship space. That's why Tamil Nadu Chidambaram temple இருக்குது. Chidambaram Ambarana space. If you worship space, sir, then you know what? If you're not understanding what I'm saying, you will give space to your not understanding. I will give space. You not understanding, I'll give space to my presentation. If I give space to my presentation, and you give space to your not understanding, if I as space and you as space meets together, there's going to be a communion, not a communication. More than communication, there's communion. Adat Chidambara Rahasya. So Akasha, Vayu. Vayu means air. Look at air. We worship air. Air touches and goes. Yes or no? Miss World, it touches and doesn't say, oh, yo, Miss World is very beautiful. It touches and goes. Can you and I touch an experience, sir, and let it go? Don't stick to an experience. And you can touch an experience, it will go. Vayu will teach you. Agni stands for detachment. There's no time, so I'm not doing. Agni, you should not be detached, so you'll not personalize anything. All right? And there, apaha, be flexible like water, sir. You worship water because water is so flexible. And Prithvi, the earth you worship, sir, it is so tolerant. You don't thank Mother Earth, but Mother Earth is with you. So you 5 elements of Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi, which is a part of the ecosystem, you respect. In you there is Akasha, in you there is Vayu, in you there is Agni, in you there is Apaha. And in this harmony, sir, a different harmony will start, and you start respecting the Akasha outside because there is Akasha inside. You respect the air outside because there is air inside. Then in that feeling, different things opens up. Friends, if you don't work on this inner harmony of ecology, it is only a concept to change the external ecology. It will not work, sir. All right? Therefore, this is profitable growth. A meaningful growth where you maximize an experience of life and not minimize it. Or else, if you are only interested in growth, all right? And if you do not know how to maximize, I'll say with these two Hindi, little Urdu it is, and I end up, and I'm sure you will understand it. All right? Please see, we all are interested in changing external ecology, not the inner ecology. Then what happened is like this, he says, Takdeer hai, magar kismat nahi kulti. Means I have got the fate, my fate is not opening. Takdeer hai, magar kismat nahi kulti. Taj Mahal banana chahta hoon, magar Mumtaz nahi milti. I want to build Taj Mahal, but I'm not getting Mumtaz. Aur ye dukh maar kara. God says Tatastu and he gets Mumtaz. So situation is changed. Has he changed? No. After meeting Mumtaz, he says, Takdeer hai, mag kismat nahi khulti. Right? Mumtaz mil gayi hai, magar shaadi nahi karti. Meet aache kalyana pandradhu, again sad. So then God says, Tatastu, he gets married to Mumtaz. Change aacha valke. But situation change aacha, valka change aacha illa. Again he says, Takdeer hai, magar kismat nahi khulti. Mahal banana chahta hoon, magar Mumtaz nahi marti. Pata evola situation change panna kuda manidan appadiye irukkaran. So it is not the situation, sir. நம்ம உள்ள ஒரு மன் தளர்ச்சி change பண்ணுவோம் நம்ம. உள்ள மன் உணர்ச்சி ஆகணும். Or else we'll say, oh, जब मेरा बेटा रोता है, दिल में दर्द होता है. पड़ोसी का बेटा रोता है, सिर में दर्द होता है. जब मेरी पत्नी रोती है, सिर में दर्द होता है. पड़ोसी का पत्नी रोती है, दिल में दर्द होता है. रोना एक है, आपका अनुभव अलग अलग हो गया. Sir, please, the greatest teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, by changing the situations of life, true profitable change will not happen. You have to change your inner mind. You have to be in harmony inside within you. You respect harmony outside. And when you do this, sir, I'll say this and end my talk, simplify your life. Don't complicate it. जीना सरल है, मरना सरल है, शादी करना सरल है, तलाक भी सरल है. तो मुश्किल क्या है? सरल होना ही बड़ा मुश्किल है. To be simple only is very difficult. So 3 Indian culture, if it is said, Angakara Vritti, Madhukara Vritti and Malakara Vritti. I have got a keynote, but I have to search for it. It says, to get Anga means, Angakara, to get coal. Some people burn the forest to get coal. This is present consumerism. You destroy the forest to get your coal. If this is your thing, it is not profitable growth. From Angakara Vritti, the Indian culture says Madhukara Vritti. Look at the bee, sir. The bee goes from one flower. All right, you don't have to destroy the forest. It is called Malakara Vritti. I'm sorry. You don't have to destroy the forest to get coal. But you can do the minimum destruction, right, sir? What you do, Malakara Vritti, don't destroy the forest. Plant more flowers, sir. And from the flower, pluck the flower, minimum destruction. But make a mala. It's called Malakara Vritti. And if you are more spiritually evolved, if you simplify your life, it is called Madhukara Vritti in Indian culture. You don't even have to take the flower. How a bee goes from one flower to another flower, so too also can you take minimum from the flower but give maximum madhu, means honey, sir. And if you simplify your life, take minimum and give maximum, only this ecology can be saved. That for me is profitable growth. Take minimum and give the maximum, sir. If this change does not happen, Gestalt change will not happen. Right? Thank you. Thank you very much. Given the half an hour, I can talk. Yeah. Yeah, the audience asked.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was an excellent presentation, and he commercially linked it, make it as a profitable one. That's the highlight of it. Spirituality can add value to your commercial consideration as well. Integrating your heart and mind in inner ecology. That's what he was trying to articulate in substance. It was full of examples, humor, and substance. Ladies and gentlemen, give him a very big hand. We're going to have 2 questions from the audience before I call upon Mr. Geet Sethi. Can I have the audience questions? Can you pass on the mic, please?
Yeah, please question to him.
Namaskaram, Swamiji.
Namaskara, vanakkam.
Vanakkam, sir. I'm Shivkumar Bellan from Simple and Smart Solutions. I'm very delighted to meet you once again. I think 10 years before I met you in Bombay Airport and shared almost 2 to 3 minutes with you in your busy schedule. My question is very particular to the corporate world in connection to the private this thing. What do you feel inside? In one of the books which you have written, Oh Manase, relax please. All of us talk about, God-fearing, God-fearing and God-fearing. Why people don't talk about God-loving? Because you said, as you mentioned, no, always we are under constant fear. So from that day onwards, I started thinking why it's that fear is every moment in the organization, corporate world, you are under constant fear. That's really changed me. As you correlate with the corporate life, from God fearing to God loving, why is that in the corporate world, when as employees, all of them are, you can say, boss fearing and boss fearing, why not boss loving? Where it could improve the profitable growth of our organization.
Perfect.
Insights on that.
Okay, very good. So now, as I said, in my book I have said, let us not be God-fearing, God-loving. God is not a ghost to be feared. God is something to be loved. Say in the corporate versus boss-fearing, boss-fearing. Fear, what is the spelling of fear? F-E-A-R. Most of our fear is fantasized experience appearing real. Most of our fear. You look at the boss, oh, he's not going to dominate me. You project a conclusion, and afterwards you see the only conclusion of the person. Very few people see a boss as a boss. You project. I've taken so many See, I'm fairly popular right now. It is okay. Before, when I was not popular, I was taking the corporate workshops. People used to look at me like this. Oh, Swamiji he's come to convert me. I have not even started my speech. And one person said, are you a BJP product to convert us? I said, I am not interested in converting anybody. I said, the greatest, and he said, I'm a Christian, I don't want to get converted. I said, I'm not interested, sir. Right, to convert the Hindus back into Hindus, one life is not enough, I said. I have no time for that. But this is a corporate workshop. I'm interested in transformation, not in converting. What happens name? No, he's projected a fear. And on that fear, he is looking at me and he's not seeing the actual me, and therefore he sees his projected reality. So too, we project on somebody, or you project, and afterwards your projection becomes a reality. It is called in Sanskrit as drishti srishti vada. So therefore, when a boss comes, your past experiences of your boss, you project on him, means you are not free to see a person as a person. See the working of your mind. And if you can observe the working of your mind, and if the mind projects a subjective reality, gently push it away, sir, and give freedom to see your boss as it is. And in that, true acumen and true acuity will emerge. And that's the discipline that you need to have. Because it is all biti yadonka nakshapa hu main. As a ghazal says, we are the footsteps of our yesterday. We are the footsteps of yesterday. We can't see a flower as a flower. When I look at the flower, you know what happens? When I look at the flower, how many of you are free to see this flower? Raise your hand. I doubt it very much. When you look at the flower, you know what happens? The perceiver pollutes the perception, and you perceive the perceived as an extension of the perceiver and have the illusion you're perceiving the perceived. So you look at the flower and say, oh, Kashmir flower is better than Madras flower. Then you say Kashmir, the useless fellows are in India and still supporting Pakistan. Brrr, you go to Pakistan. When you go to Pakistan, they want not only their poverty, they want our poverty. Brrr. I'm saying look at the flower. Look at the perceiver, how it pollutes the perception. From here it goes to Kashmir to go to Pakistan, and America is still supporting Pakistan. Brrr, you go to America. And I'm saying look at this flower. When you go to America after the Clinton took place, after Clinton, tilting took place towards India, you go to Clinton. And I'm saying look at the flower. When you go to Clinton, he had affair with Monica. In Chennai, I have no affair. He had affair and you feel miserable. Clinton had affair. I don't have affair. Who brought you misery? Flower. So the perceiver pollutes the perception. And you perceive the perceived as an extension of the perceiver and have the illusion you're perceiving the perceived. That's what you're doing with your boss, sir. The perceiver is polluting the perception. Can the perceiver factually see the perceived, not distorting the perceived? That's the great call which you have to make your mind clean for that, sir. Next question.
One last question. Yeah. Yes, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Do you have a mic to pass on? Yes.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste, ma.
The question is when we are talking about we have to see as a reality and
What doshi?
when you are mentioning that we have to see the reality of it not as a perception, does not the past experience give us the perception?
Okay.
Can we ignore the past experience?
See, please see. I'm not saying, see, what we have to do, if you are locked up in your past, you cannot create anything new. Creativity cannot happen when you are locked up. All scientific development happens is you respect the past, but please, you are not trapped by the past. You look at it from a different perception, and also innovation happens, Right. So therefore, what I will say, yes, past has a place. Learn from the past. Enjoy the present and plan for the future. Learn from the past. But let the past not interfere in trapping me into the present. When I take for even sports people, I tell them the same thing there. Mr. Said, he is the expert in that. So he will tell, I say, when I was staying for cricket players and looking at the ball, don't go from your past memory. Not that your past memory is unimportant. All right, when you go from the past, last time I hit and I go on doing, the past memory will prevent you in factually seeing the ball. So what do? You have your past. Stop the past. The past will have its body memories. For a player, cricket player, it has its body memories. But your mind should be free to see the ball. And when the mind is free to see the ball, there is an intelligence in the body which navigates to the situation. Or else you will be trapped by your own past. And it's multiple combinations of it, I can't say. So I say learn from the past, enjoy the present, plan for the future. But for most of us, we are trapped in the past, and our present is an extension of the past, and our future is going to be an extension of our past. So therefore, there is nothing new which we see. And therefore in Urdu there's a beautiful thing. Tere azad bando ki na ye duniya wo na wo duniya. Yaha marne ki pabandi, waha jeene ki pabandi. If you don't understand, doesn't matter. Adu kuda enjoy pannu. Vaa anchulu avladha. All right? So therefore it is that azadi you should have. All right? In sports, your body will have its body memory, sir. But if you're always trapped, then you can never innovate any shot, sir. You can never innovate anything, sir. All right? So therefore, keep that. It's a very fine tuning which you have to bring into that. Respect the past, but let not past trap you in the present. Let the freedom be free in the present and plan for the future.
As simple as that. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Swami Sukha Bodhananda. Give him a big hand. Excellent, sir. Next, our speaker, Mr. Geet Sethi, 9 times world champion and co-founder of Olympic Gold Quest. Geet Sethi is a 9-time Q Sports world champion, having won 8 times world billiards title. That's extraordinary. And again, world snooker's master title. He has been awarded Arjuna Award, Rajiv Khel Ratna Award, and Padma Shri. He is also the co-founder of Olympic Gold Quest, a non-profit foundation supporting Indian athletes who have potential to win Olympic medals for India. He is also an author book, Success versus Joy, which is an inspirational on mind control. Let's see what Mr. Geet Sethi has to say in terms of ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, Give him a big hand, the world champion 9 times.
My most severe punishment that I ever received was actually when I was in, I think it was in grade 7. And we had a very strict PT teacher, and he, if you did anything wrong during the PT, during assembly, and he saw you, he would bash us up, yeah. So I happened to be, something I'd done wrong, and I remember that severe bashing. It was real punishment bashing, and it's still very dominant in my mind. But since that day, I think that's now a distant memory. Today, I have been punished completely. Totally punished that I'm speaking after Swamiji. Completely and utterly punished. Yeah, absolutely wonderful, Swamiji. I had thought that I'd come and talk to you about change and about Olympic Gold Quest, this foundation that I had started to change the landscape in the sporting environment of our country. But I'm not going to talk about all that. I'm not going to talk about all that. I'm going to take on 2 words. 2 words and 2 thoughts from Swamiji. The first word was success, and he showed, you captured my imagination too when you showed those wonderful photographs of Marilyn Monroe and who was that? Angelina Jolie. So, and I'm going to then talk about the mind. I spent 40 years in trying to understand the behavior of 3 inanimate objects. 40 years, that's what I've done. He's written books, he's read books, he's gained wisdom, and all that I have done is spend 40 years in trying to understand the behavior of 3 balls in a 12 by 6 table. And in doing so, I had to understand my mind. And so I'll make a small comment on the mind. And I think both the thoughts of success and the mind resonate very deeply with what Swamiji has said. Perhaps I'll give you a slightly more personal interpretation of what Swamiji just spoke about. He said that success, and I think our understanding of success is fame, money, and power. And that understanding of success being fame, money, and power comes perhaps because we are really being brainwashed by media. So today I am a 9-time world billiard champion, okay? Now just for a moment think that through billiards, because there was a world championship, and because the world championship got covered in the newspaper and in the television screen, I have got a bit of fame. And because there is fame and because it's on the media screen, there is a little bit of money. So therefore, my billiards has made me famous and it's got me a little bit of money. Now, just for a moment, think. So I'm trying to eradicate the concept of success that as we understand it today. Now, for a minute, just think that I'm this young kid who's playing billiards. Okay, I'm playing billiards. I love the game, and I loved it when I started it. I'm playing billiards in a world where there's no television, and I'm playing billiards in a world where there is no competition. There is no competition, and it's a beautiful world. And I gain competency. Every year I'm becoming better and better and better and better and better. No competition, no TV, no newspaper, and therefore no money. But I continue, and I am going to continue for 30 years. I continue, and I make the same 1,276 break that I made and made a world record and got so famous for. And I did that. And so there is no fame, there is no money. Am I not successful is the question I ask you. 30 years I have played the sport, and I have achieved supreme competency in that sport. Am I not successful? I am successful. So success is just a job well done. Define success according to your own capability and your own potential and the work that you do. Forget about the media, forget about the money, and forget about the power. And I was talking to Swamiji and behind the stage, and I told him about my Mali. Do we ever talk about successful gardeners? Have we ever talked about successful gardeners? No, because there is no competition, because there is no money for great gardening. Yes, we talk about great chefs today. Why do we talk about great chefs today? Because they are on TV and they are earning huge amounts of money. That's why. But were there not television programs, and if food was not such a big part of our entertainment industry, would we understand and know these chefs? We wouldn't. So we don't know gardeners. My gardener, who's been with me for 24 years, he looks after the school where my wife has started, is the most successful person I ever know. And he is the most evolved person I've ever met in my life. Most evolved. He's not successful. I mean, he's not moneyed, he's got no fame, and he has no power. But he is successful. So change the definition of success for yourselves, more importantly for your children. Small example. I get a mother, very involved mother and father, who come to me and said, we want you to coach our young boy. I said, okay. And I ask this of everyone, and I urge all of you to ask yourself this one question. Why do you do what you do? You will spend perhaps 1 year trying to understand and trying to articulate for yourself why you really do what you do. And I asked this young kid, I said, why do you want to play billiards? And it's a question which is actually a very deep question. Why do you want to play billiards? And the answer I got reflects today why and how brainwashed we are in trying to define success. And the answer I got was, I want to win the Arjuna Award. And I was so sad. A 12-year-old kid who's never held a cue in his life wants to start playing billiards because he wants to win the Arjuna Award. So think to yourself why you're doing what you do. Think to yourself, and just recognize how brainwashed we all are. The other wonderful subject he touched upon briefly was the mind and the misery of the mind. And I'm going to just tell you a story, and I'm going to end this talk because, I'm still trying